What is going on, guys? Keen Flame here, and this time I'm back with a coaching video. So this guy GGG has contacted me, and we aren't really in the same time zone. So it was like, okay, maybe we could make a video about the replays that he sent me, and I can go over them. So that's what I'm doing. And then I was like, okay, maybe I just put it on YouTube as well for you guys, So this guy is around 1100 elo, and I've coached about almost 40 people now in the last 2 months, and I kind of know now what you guys struggle with, and most of you guys are around probably 1200 or 800, 900 elo. So I kind of know now what you guys like find hard to deal with, and kind of what you guys need. And honestly, the answer might surprise you, and it's not really build orders or strategies. It's just honestly just mechanics. It's like RTS fundamentals and AOM fundamentals that you guys need. So I'm going to go over that this game. This guy probably struggles with the same issues, so I'm going to go in depth this video about what he did wrong, what he could improve. And so the first thing I usually check out is, the scroll speed. So the scroll speed actually gets saved when you're watching the game, right? When you're watching a recorded game. So I can see this guy, the scroll speed is okay, but, it could be a little bit faster, So that's the first thing. So this guy is playing Zeus. He's against Gaia. And honestly, just forget the matchup for now, guys. Just like honestly, it's not really about like strategy or build orders, like I said, right? It's about the eco management. It's about, just being faster, like making army like nonstop, never having idle queues in your barracks or your stables, like not having too much resources in your bank. So like a rule of thumb basically is like, if you have more than 100 resources in your bank of any resource, then you're at that point floating resources, which is, too much. So always try to keep your resources below 100 and keep spending it nonstop, and keep checking your buildings to see if your units are making actually, right? Like if the buildings are actually trading units. If they're not, then that's a problem, right? Because you're going to fall behind compared to, better players. And also on the left side, right, you can see the global queue. So if you can see, like, for example, let's pretend, right, like he has like 2 buildings right here, 2 military buildings. And you can see this bar right here is empty, like it doesn't show hoplites or archers, right? And you have like 500 resources, like for example, like 500 gold, 100 food, or 200 wood. Then it means you're not spending your resources well enough, right? And at that point, you're going to fall behind on your enemies. So always make sure to spend your resources. And also a second thing, I see that a lot of beginners like make the mistake for is that they have so much walking time, like between the storehouse or granary. So you can see this villager right here, right? It's walking from here all the way to the storehouse. So it's just losing resources, just walking from this location to the storehouse, right? So it's better to just, like make a storehouse right here than, having this guy like walk back and forth, right? And also, you don't really need a storehouse right now in wood, right? With this build order, you can just, only put 2 on gold, everything else to food, right? And then, you can make your temple, your house, and you can up right away, right? It's easier on Poseidon, but, yeah. So you don't really need this villager on wood right now, right? Because you already have enough wood to begin with. You also don't need this many villagers on gold. Not sure if he is following a build order like from Magic or, Soup or myself or someone else, right? I would not suggest to make a temple as well with 2 villagers. I would say that's a little bit too much. Unless you're like set, for example, like you really want to, hit that shift in sense time, and then yeah, sure, you can make it with 2 villagers, right? So let's talk about scouting, right? So he's actually doing a very good job, like scouting like a loop around his base, right? So this is very, very good. He scouted all his gold mines, his his back TC. And also one thing, guys, for example, if you see the safe hunt right here in the corner, right, there's a high chance your opponent has it as well. So if you scouted your own base, you kind of know the layout of your opponent's base as well. So okay, he also has probably 2 forward gold mines, right? He has probably like back hunt, these crown cranes, right? So let's actually take a look right there at the opponent as well. So as you can see, he has the same as the blue guy, right? So all the 4 gold mines, the ducks, right? And then, the back TC. So it's very, very similar. So just by scouting your own base, you can already get a lot of information. And I realized also people, they didn't realize that this game has a lot of depth to it. It's kind of like chess. So in this situation, sometimes I see people going straight away for a second TC, but then you have to ask yourself the question, with these gold mines being so far forward, right? Like, is this actually a good option to go for? Because if your opponent stays 1 TC, he will have more army, right? And then he can simply just wait right here with his army, and it's like a game of chess. Like, he just basically like checkmates you, because all the units, or most of the units in AOM, they cost gold, right? So gold is a very, very important resource, and this gold mine it will run out around 9 or 10 minutes. So if you wait with your army right here, you can gold starve your opponent very easily, right? So far, let me go back to coach this guy actually. So he has 5 on wood, which is, it's fine, it's enough. I'll probably, move 2 more from food to wood as well. So you can get your buildings out ASAP the moment you reach classic or age, right? So he is gonna hit around, I think 315 or 420 or 415. Not sure. So he's getting hand tax. So that's not a bad idea, right? He's against Gaia. She's probably, gonna go fast heroic or 2 TC fast heroic, right? But you have the scout, right? So at this point, you have to know what your opponent's gonna do, right? So you got your centaur, right? So make sure to set your rally points straight away to the enemy base, right? You gotta find his hunt. You have to, scout and see actually what he's doing. You also have to make your hero while you're advancing to classic, right? So right now I don't see a hero yet, and yeah. So your centaur and your hero has to be walking already right here. Like your centaur has to be like right here, and your hero has to be walking right there. So your hunt is right here, right? And let me see. So your berries are kind of wide open, right? Your temple placement is okay. So I would actually move your temple right here, like make it right here, so it's kind of blocked off, and then you can make a house right there. And then your goal is very safe, right? And then you make this house like right here. So you create like a wall of buildings, basically, right? So let's check out the opponent. So against Atlantean, right? He's going to have oracles all over the map, and oracles generate a favor for Atlantean, right? So it's very important to actually hunt those down. Like, for example, if you had your hero out right now, you could be, killing this oracle and, reduce his favor rate, which means, he wouldn't be able to spam as many Caladrias or, get the upgrades that he needs, right? So at this point, your scout, like, you shift click it, right? Like all the way like over here, but it should be going straight to his base right now, see what he's doing. Like, is he taking a second town center? Is he going double barracks or counter barracks? Like, you don't really know anything right now, right? So you're kind of playing blind. And like I said before, right, a lot of people at your elo, they just blindly take a town center, and this can be punished very easily. Like, what, if he sent in his Carnivoria right on your TC, right? And then you would be doomed right away. Or what if he, sends his Murmillo straight to here? So if you're going to take a second TC, which I would, not advise, then at least, make your 2 heroes first, keep your centaur right here, and, actually like defend your villagers, so, you can get this up safely, right? So he's slowing down your scout here. So let me see. So yeah, against Gaia, you can actually, take the forward hunt, like it's kind of safe, you should have map control, unless you take a second TC, of course, and you don't. So if you do, take a second TC, then I'll go for the chicken first, because, you don't have any army here right now. So this is like basically like wide open, right? So nice kiting, bringing the hippos close to your granary. That's very good. Very nice job. So yeah, so right now, kind of by luck, right? You're seeing the counter barracks and the barracks, but you don't see, anything else what he's doing yet. For example, you could have scouted, right, that this gold mine is wide open and he's, not protecting it. His temple should be right here basically, and then his counter barracks right here, his barracks right here, right? So it creates like a wall around his gold mine. So you could win this game very, very fast. Just making 2 heroes, right, another centaur, and then you just sit here. So there's different win conditions basically in AOM, and the first win condition is winning at your opponent's medium gold mine. And after that, it's the large gold mines, right, outside of his base. And after that, the third win condition is that you can win by a TC advantage, by a town center advantage, right? Having more population. So you just have more army, more space for villagers and army, right? So you just have map control basically. For example, you have 4 TCs and he only has 2. Then you have a big advantage, right? And then the very last win condition is actually controlling the corners. This is more of the thing in higher elo, but I'm going to point it out anyway, right? Because if you do not control the corners in the mid to late game, then your trade will basically be very shitty, right? Because if you make a market right here and your trade caravans go from here all the way to here, right? Or to this TC, then they will bring a lot more gold back to your market, right? But let's say if your opponent controls this corner and you're forced to make your market right here, you only get like 10 or 15 gold, right? So the bigger the distance from your market to your TC, the more gold you'll get, right? So you have to deny your opponent the corner and take it yourself, and also take your own corner, right? So that's just something to keep in mind for, anyone else who is watching as well. So again, right, this is very risky because you're basically giving away map control to the Gaia, and Gaia should not have map control. Like Gaia should be, kind of punished. She should kind of, turtle in her base and then, try to secure a gold mine later on. So you're kind of giving, the game away, like the map away, basically, like map control. And also, right, like if you went 1 TC, dropped your like your barracks or your stable right away, right, then this hunt will be, no problem to take. Like 100% you could go for it very easily, right? But now you're pushed off it, so you have to go back, right? And now you're, losing like food gathering time. Your villagers are idle, right? They have to walk. But yeah, so far, your micro is pretty, decent. You are losing a Hippocon right there, so that's not too good. At this point, you kind of have to go back into your base, upgrade your towers, and then, just defend and, hope you can secure one of these gold mines. And if you don't, then it's going to be a very, very hard game, right? You have to make a market in your base, trade food for gold or wood for gold, right? So this is kind of somehow working, but at the same time, yeah, it's just, your reinforcements are coming right here. It's, closer to his base or to your base, right? But it's not a very good fight to take, right? Because you're just bleeding units, basically. So yeah, I think the main issue this game was, you're taking, a TC kind of blindly, right? So first of all, you have to scout what your opponent is doing, like right away. Basically, like the moment he's in Classic, you have to scout how many villages he has on gold, on wood, and if you see double barracks, then you have to counter with double archery range, right? Or like archery range and a barracks. And if if he goes double counter barracks, then he's going to make Terma or catapultis, right? So at that point, you should probably go for like a stable and a barracks, right? Like Hippocons to counter the, let me see, like to counter the Termas, right? And the Caraballistas, and then archers to counter, or hoplites to counter, or, do decently against the catapultis, right? They will like trade okay. So yeah, again, right, like this is an issue I see a lot in the, the 1200 elo games, 1100 elo games, or even 900 elo games. Like people, like, they have like a sense of urgency to like push the main TC, but the main TC is always going to be the most fortified one, right? So you actually should go for the back TC. Like you should punish this right here. Or you should punish this like around his main TC. Like always, look around the TC. Like don't go in, Like don't go in too deep because you'll just suicide the units, and then this guy might actually come back. So always keep scouting. Like Magic said it is one of his videos, right? Always keep scouting, like the whole game. Never stop scouting, because scouting is information, and information is winning the game, right? So as I said, right, around 10 minutes, the gold mine runs out, right? So at this moment, you have to move out. I would probably put these villagers on food right there, on chicken, and then move these guys to the gold mine right there, right? And then put some walls down here, and maybe even 2 towers, because you're going to need that this game, right? Upgrade your towers. And again, right, you're floating a lot of resources. I'm assuming you're trying to go heroic, get like a power spike from, for example, curse, right? Well, I guess you don't have curse, but like from bronze or manticores. But yeah, try to keep your resources low in general. But at this point, I would probably try to make a lot of army first, just at least enough to defend, right, your gold mine, and then like go heroic after that, right? And then put the fortress down here, then maybe take this town center as well. But yeah, so at this moment, right, you have to kind of know what your opponent is doing. Like, okay, is he on 1TC still? Is he taking a town center? So let's take a look. So I think what Red should have done, right, he could have just kind of kept you in the dark, right? And then he could have taken this town center, this town center. He could have gone heroic all at the same time, right? And then just wait here and deny your forward town center, right? So you kind of gotta. Well, let me back up for a second, right? So AOM, right? When you a lot of people ask me, like, when do I take a town center? Like, when do I go heroic, right? And the answer to that is basically, in the early game, you need to force an advantage for yourself. Like, you need to have like a lead on the map. Like, you need to have killed like a few units, for example. You like at 5 or 6 minutes, you kill like a few villagers, or you push him into his base, and then you just keep checking. Like, is my army bigger than his? Like, if you killed a few units, right, of his, then you have a bigger army. So he needs to make more army to match your army, right? So that gives you like a little bit of extra time and extra resources to take a town center. So once you feel like you have like a lead, like you killed some of his units, or you kill some of his villagers, and you feel like you're ahead, right? That's a moment when you can probably grab a town center, unpunished. And once you, like, after that TC, right, that's when you remake army again, right? And I know I'm saying right a lot, the word right, but just to, the way it is. So it's really good that you're putting up these walls, right? But yeah, I think everything just needs to be a little bit faster. Like make more buildings. And as you can see, right, the global queue, it's kind of empty, right? It's only making 2 villagers, 1 from each town center, and that's what I said in the early game, right? Not like now you're making units, but you're not making hippicons or hoplites. So you're actually dropping down more barracks, which is really good, right? You realize that you need to make more army, and you have 1.3k wood, right? 1.6k gold, so that's a lot of resources. And like I said, right, this is the biggest problem of the people at your elo, right? They just have way too much resources in their bank, and they're not spending it. Like right now, you could have, let me see, like 180 pop army, right? Or not army, but like you could be at 180 pop right now. Like if you make all your houses, you take this TC, like you could have a really, really big army. You could even be going mythic at this point. So it's like some people, right, at low elo, they kind of complain about the balance of the game, but honestly, the god doesn't matter, the strategy doesn't matter, the build order doesn't even matter, as long as it's not too terrible. It's mostly just spending your resources, keeping everything below 100, making army non-stop, and just taking town centers at the right time. Like, just don't fall behind on villagers, and that's honestly all you have to do. Just keep making army the whole game, like non-stop. Keep take a town center whenever you can, and on maps like this, where all the gold mines are forward, do not go to TC. On narrow maps like Alfheim or let me see, like Waterhole, yes, sure, you can take to TC, right? Because the walk-in time for your opponent's army to your base is just, is too large. Like they have to walk too much. It's like a marathon, right? So yeah. So just imagine, right? If you spend this 2k gold, this 2k wood, right? You could have so much more army. You could be mythic right now. You could have this TC. So it's really just a matter of spending your resources, honestly. Like that's what most people struggle with at the lower elos, right? So yeah, I think that's kind of about it for this game. Let me just fast play until the end. But yeah, so you also you have to finish your houses right there for more population, because you're gonna be pop locked soon. But yeah, I think if you work on those things that I talked about in this video, right? GGG. So just make units right away. Go 1 TC first, and then get your heroes out ASAP. So put 1 villager on the temple, right? Immediately go to your enemy's base. Scout around your opponent's base. Take into account that if you have hunt here, he probably has it here as well. So that's an easy raid, right? If he goes to this, don't dive the main TC. Wait outside the main TC for his goal to run out, right? And then once you have a small lead, for example, you kill some villagers, you kill some army, that's when you take a town center or you go heroic, unpunished. And it seems like you won this game, so good job. Still coming back into the game. Very nice job. I hope this feedback was useful for you, and also the viewers that are watching this. So I thought I might do something different. If you like this coaching style, feel free to DM me on Discord, and we can set up a session. So basically, let me talk about a little bit more, right, about the coaching, like how it works basically when I coach someone. So I've coached like almost 40 people now, and basically what I do is like I watch 1 or 2 replays, and I really go over the game, see what mistakes the player is making. After that, I let the person play like a 10-minute game against the AI, to kind of see how his mechanics are, and obviously screen shares, right? So I can kind of see if his mechanics are good enough yet or not, kind of some hotkey tips. And I might cover that in the next video as well, like going over some hotkeys and settings and other mechanics. And, once the mechanics are all good, like the settings are all good, then I usually let the guy play like a ranked game, and he'll share his screen, and I'll like life coach basically, like really hard. Like I'll just talk nonstop in his ear, tell him what to do, so the person kind of gets a feel for it, how to actually play at a high tempo, right? Like doing everything kind of right or close to it, right? So just making units nonstop, keeping the resources low. And after that, usually they actually actually improve like 100 elo, 200 elo. So yeah, the people really liked it so far. So if you're interested in that, make sure to contact me on Discord, and we can set something up like that. And I'll probably do 2 more videos for this guy, because he asked me to watch his replays, and he wanted some coaching, but we couldn't, we aren't in the same time zone, so we couldn't set up a call. But yeah, I hope this was useful for you guys, and I'm open to suggestions for other type of videos as well. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, boys. See you later.